According to a new report being released today, the U.S. counter-terrorism practice known as extraordinary rendition involved the participation of more than 50 nations. The program, started under President George W. Bush, entailed suspects being quietly moved to secret prisons abroad and often tortured. The report also identifies by name 136 prisoners who were at some point subjected to extraordinary rendition. Now, although Bush administration officials say that they never intentionally sent terrorism suspects abroad in order to be tortured, the countries where the prisoners seemed to end up, Egypt, Libya, Syria, and others, were known to utilize coercive interrogation techniques.
If you want to say that torture is a useful device and it's helpful, and we just legally can't do it, so this is a way for us to get around the law. So let's just set aside that it's illegal, but just say, okay, we've decided it's so useful.
Right.
Then maybe you could make that argument. I'm not sure how much you gain by just sort of sending them off and saying, well, I don't know what happens. I mean, the point is that this is an orchestrated effort for us to get information without having to get our hands dirty. But that doesn't always hold up, right? I mean, this is the old torture debate, but I mean, people give false confessions under torture. One of the leading sources of information that led to the war in Iraq, this sort of notion that Saddam Hussein was involved in training the Al Qaeda elements of Al Qaeda in chemical and biological warfare, was made up by a detainee who was picked up by the Americans in Pakistan and extraordinary rendition to Egypt, and under the threat of torture made this up. So there's pretty significant downsides to using these techniques.
I mean, that's a good anti-torture argument, but it's not an anti-extraordinary rendition argument.
You can't just say, this law is unjust, so we're going to send these people to another country to do what we want. I mean, we're going to outsource robbing banks because we think that it's not fair that I think it's not fair that I don't have money, but I don't want to go to jail for it. So I'm going to go find another country and have them have some of their citizens rob the bank and give you. I don't know. The whole thing is kind of nonsense, right, Mark?
Yeah, I think, Mark, you have to assume.
You're so smart, man. What is
No,
this?
Josh, you're too smart for me, man. You got to go now, man. You're too smart. You just talked me out of torture. I was really on board with extraordinary rendition until this very moment. He's too smart for us, ladies and gentlemen.